So this is the tale of our cats. Here for a long, long time. They'll have to make the best of things. It's an uphill climb.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Come here for a minute. I want to talk to you. Mama says you're brain dead.
Bang your head against the wall.
Can't find peace of mind. Brain needs an overhaul. Bonehead, brain dead.
We're all the same.
You can't think straight when your heart is in pain.
That's right.
Turn around, hit the ground.
Time to lay your burden down.
The views expressed on this broadcast of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show are those of the co-host and guest and do not necessarily reflect those of our affiliates. The topics and opinions on today's show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice. Take 12 Radio is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. And now, here's your host,
The man, the myth, the legend.
the Monty Man.
Telling you the truth, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Good guys, bad boys, we're all the same. Saved by grace is the name of the game.
Turn around, hit the ground. Time to lay your burden down. That's right.
I'm going to take them batteries away. I'm glad I didn't bring the cowbell.
Do-do-do. Do-do-do. I don't have a cowbell, but I have a tinkle bell.
Wait till you hear this goat bell.
Welcome to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Denver's here.
I'm here.
Marv is here.
Oh, afraid so.
Yeah. Right. Tony's not with us today. She's not feeling too hot. She had a relative pass away, I guess, this morning. So an aunt that lives, she live in Maine or something? Or
Someplace far away.
Someplace far away, yeah.
Yeah.
But Tony's kind of tore up. And so please pray for Tony. We miss her laugh, and we miss her when she's not here. So, Tony, take care of yourself. Your seat is here. It is always here, waiting for your wonderful laugh.
That'll give me another week to find the baby.
The baby.
I'm on the hunt for the baby.
The baby. You gotta,
I found mine, but
bang, bang. This week, Step 10 reveal. We're going to talk about Step 10 a little bit. But I want to tell you, we got some really exciting things coming up, Denver.
all right.
We do. So this Wednesday is the number 2
Second one.
Victory Report,
You bet.
where we interview the men and women of Teen Challenge of Arizona who share their experience, strength, and hope as it relates to overcoming life-controlling issues through the power of God.
And we got a guest already figured out?
We have a guest, Brandy V. Brandy V is going to be with us.
You got to be doing that over the telephone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. We fly him out. We fly him out here. Yeah.
Actually, we're going the other direction. We're going to Arizona next time.
Yeah. We just fly around. We got a little Learjet. Take 12 radio Learjet. Go warm up the helicopter.
I wish. Arizona, I miss you.
Arizona. Speaking of Arizona, so I like to call them our sister station. Bruce and Shelley from Recovery 101. If you're listening, hi, Bruce and Shelley.
Howdy.
They have moved. They're still doing Recovery 101 radio. And in fact, if you'd like to listen to their show, go to recovery101.net. And they have a Podomatic app just like we do. They've moved from Southern California to Tombstone, Arizona. And they're loving it.
Have you been to Tombstone?
I don't know that I have.
I've been there when I was really young, and I didn't appreciate it as much because
You didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go there.
What's in Tombstone?
Tombstones.
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 So they're there and they're broadcasting still. So best to them. Yeah, that's
excellent.
cool stuff. Yeah, they got a great show. I love their show. It's always good for a laugh and some good recovery. So check them out at recovery101.net. All right, but coming up, so this Wednesday, the 21st, Brandy V from Teen Challenge of Arizona will be sharing her experience, strength, and hope. And Denver co-hosts that show with me. And then on the 26th, next Monday, Billy Anderson, the Director of Clinical Outreach for Sunspire Health Services, will be sitting probably right there. And he's going to be sharing his experience, strength, and hope, his recovery story with us on this show. And he's a great guy. Marv, you're going to love this guy. I know you haven't loved everybody that's been here, but you're going to love Billy.
No, wait a minute.
Ooh.
I love everybody.
Okay.
Some
I know-
coming
Amen.
and some going.
Amen.
And then a real treat is on Wednesday, and these are all posted by 2:00 Pacific Standard Time on these days. Wednesday, our Southern California rep for Take 12 Recovery Radio and sponsor Roger McDermott will be here.
Yeah.
And Denver's going to be here. And Roger will be. Have you met Roger?
No, I
Marv?
haven't.
You should come too. You would really.
Yes,
you would
you
definitely
should.
like Roger.
He's a hoot.
Oh yeah, he's a hoot.
When's that?
That'll be Wednesday the 28th. Wednesday the 28th at 10:00. And we're going to be talking about emotional sobriety and the church.
Ooh, you threw church in there.
Yeah.
All
Why
right,
is the
all
church
right.
so emotionally unstable?
I don't even want to touch that today.
Or why are they stable? I don't know. Marv, stable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
See what I did there? Isn't
Yeah.
that great?
Yeah, it was great.
And then next month, Brandon Manning, a graduate of Teen Challenge Pacific Northwest,
Excellent.
is going to be sharing his experience, strength, and hope, and his story, which is an amazing story. I've memorized it because I've heard it probably 1,155 times.
I've heard it a couple times.
Yeah.
It is a great story.
It is a
though.
great story.
Yes, it is.
Great. So we got a bunch of cool stuff. And then we don't have a launch date yet for it, but we have a brand new show coming up called Entitled to Overcome, Solutions for Life Today, with Mr. Dave Fleming, who is a certified alcohol and drug counselor level 2. He'll be with us, and we'll be doing a show, and we're pretty sure that's going to be on Friday. So we filled up things now. We got
Busy.
Monday show, we got the Wednesday, every other Wednesday with Teen Challenge of Arizona. We've got Walking Through the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions with Chris Schroeder on every other Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we have the Caroline Preston Show on relationships. We've brought that back. They're archives from several years ago. She's the author of Remembering Who We Are, talking about mind mapping. Remember mind mapping? We talked with Susan Shehorn
Yeah.
about the Native American
Right.
mind
Sharon.
mapping. Or Sharon Shehorn, yeah. And in fact, the author of the book that Sharon brought in is a friend of Carol Ann Preston's, and she's putting me in touch with him, so we may be able to get him on the show via a phone interview at some point. And it's about mind mapping and the Native American Red Road to Recovery. And Carol is she's a big advocate of that, and she's a great lady.
Retirement got busy.
It did get busy.
I love it.
It did. More coffee. I didn't get my coffee. Where's my coffee?
Bang, bang.
Bang bang, bang bang. Anyway, so what was I gonna tell you? I guess that was probably it as far as that goes. Let me see.
Stop right there.
Oh, okay.
It's time for
It is time.
Weekly Wine.
Are you gonna whine this week, Denver?
No, I'm not going to whine, but I'm going to kind of not. I'm going to kind of whine.
Okay, go ahead. Kind
All
of
right.
whine.
All right. I have through meditation and prayer and just thinking about it all. Not going to whine completely about this, but I did have a whine. It was going to be about The Men in Blue, all right? Yeah. I love these guys.
You're not talking about the blue meanies from Yellow Submarine.
No, I'm not talking Smurfs or nothing else.
Right.
The officers of...
The law.
Yeah. So, anyways, I got off work at 2 o'clock one day, or evening, I should say, morning, whatever you want to call
Right.
it. It was late, and I got pulled over, and it was kind of a bogus pullover. And I realized that 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm prime suspect for a drunk driver, especially in my little ugly vehicle.
Right.
But I wanted to let them know not everybody out at 2 o'clock in the morning has been drinking. I was actually at the courthouse scrubbing some porcelain so that it
You
would
were
be-
working for the community.
I was
actually.
working for the community that night, and I'm getting paid. It wasn't community service.
Right.
So anyways, they'd be shiny and bright Monday morning. Not everybody out there is drinking at 2 o'clock in the morning. Thank you for the service that you do, but...
Everybody is except for you.
I wanted to tell you my license plate actually was burning, and he said it wasn't.
He said it was out.
Yeah, and maybe it was a short, because he mentioned sometimes they just short out. So I didn't want to get out and check it that night because it was wet.
Or maybe
and
he was
cold.
throwing the dice, hoping to see if he could score a ticket.
Maybe, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, hey, it keeps you you on the straight and narrow, right?
It got me out of the vehicle looking at the license plate light when I did get home. But here's the trade-off. It was wet and cold that night, and he did get out of his vehicle to come check on my...
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Sorry for the inconvenience, officer.
Oh, lordy, lordy. Okay, so I've got. You got anything to whine about, Marv?
Not really.
Want to whine? I've got two, and the first one is we can make light of it. The second one is kind of ridiculous, but the first one. Okay, so we talked about texting and driving before, and people doing the social media thing, and how their smart devices are really stupid and take all their attention and all that kind of thing. But I'm in the grocery store the other day. Now, I understand people on their phone using their calculator to add up their grocery bill. I get that. I've done that before because I had a limited amount of money in my pocket and needed to stay within my limit.
Yeah.
But this woman wasn't doing that. She was, because her phone, wasn't a phone, it was a tablet. So I could see, because she's right next to me, she's texting. I don't know what she was texting about. I didn't read it, but she's texting and having this conversation. She's laughing and giggling and texting and moving her shopping cart, swerving all down the aisle like a drunk person because she's texting and shopping. Get out of my way. I just want some cat food. I mean, and then she stops right in the middle of the aisle.
Oh, those people.
Yes.
Oh.
And it's ha ha ha, and she starts texting, and her iPad or whatever she was using had the noise thing on it, so it sounds like a typewriter.
Every punch of the
Tick
button.
tick 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 tick. I'm like, really? Texting while shopping? Oh my goodness! All right, so there was that. All right,
That's legit.
the movie Peter Rabbit.
I seen you posted that.
Yes, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And a lot of people don't appreciate Peter Rabbit because they didn't grow up reading the British book Peter Rabbit. But Peter Rabbit has found itself in the middle of a food allergy controversy that has prompted some parents to boycott the animated children's film and Sony Pictures to issue an apology.
Oh, my.
Now, I am telling you, you got to really be reaching. I mean, so this is a whine about people who whine. Now, usually I like to make fun, and we have light of it, the weekly whine. But this is absolutely ridiculous. Check this out. The uproar began with a bundle of blackberries. One scene shows the rabbit Peter and his forest friends attacking their arch nemesis, Mr. McGregor, by throwing blackberries at him. Now, Mr. McGregor is allergic to blackberries. So they throw one at him, and it lands in his mouth, right? And he starts choking, so he has to inject himself with an EpiPen. And
This is on the movie?
this is on the movie, right? Well, due to the scene, parents of children with life-threatening allergies are condemning the movie and asking for it to be boycotted worldwide. Because you're bullying kids with food allergies. I'm like, are you serious?
We're not even going to touch that.
So one doctor said for them to mock something as serious as food allergies is irresponsible and dangerous. Boycott the film. The Kids with Food Allergy Foundation issued a warning to parents about the BlackBerry scene. Parents should be aware of this before your children see the movie and seek counseling. What?
They've never watched Roadrunner, have they?
No. If your parenting skills are so poor that you've got to seek counseling for your child to watch Peter Rabbit, I'm questioning your parenting skills. That is just ridiculous. Now listen, food allergies are nothing to laugh at in the sense of some of them can be very dangerous.
Yes.
But we've been making fun of food allergies on TVs and cartoons for years. You know, people with eating peanuts and they swell up. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I think Tim Allen was in it. He swelled up like a balloon, and people laughed. You know what this comes down to is we can't laugh at ourselves anymore. It's illegal, immoral, irresponsible to laugh at yourself. And if you can't laugh at yourself, what is that? Rule 62, don't take yourself so blankety-blank seriously in AA. Sony Pictures did respond. Food allergies are a serious issue. Our film should not have made light of Peter Rabbit's arch nemesis, Mr. McGregor, being allergic to blackberries, even in a cartoonish slapstick way. We sincerely regret not being more aware and sensitive to this issue. We truly apologize.
I can't,
I'm like,
come
what?
on.
Oh, my
Jamie,
goodness.
Christmas.
I'm like,
We're pretty sensitive nowadays.
oh my word. Okay, all right. So you want to complain about something? You know, let's talk about the thousands of unborn children that are murdered senselessly. Let's talk about 12-year-olds that are given permission by the medical profession to have their sex organs changed without their parents' permission. Let's talk about that stuff. You're talking about a children's movie and a rabbit? Give me a break.
Thank you. Let's end with that note.
So Take 12 Recovery Radio and the Monty Man give Peter Rabbit 2 thumbs way up. It was an excellent film. The artwork, it matched the artwork of the British artists from years ago. I mean, it was done really well. And it was just as funny could be.
I never read the book. Marv, did you read the book?
No.
Nah, we
It's
did.
about a mischievous rabbit that likes to steal vegetables out of Mr. McGregor's garden and how he went. Hey, I didn't hear any animal activists boycotting the movie. Mr. McGregor's trying to kill the rabbit.
Oh, no.
Oh no! He's trying to, and they're trying to blow him up with TNT. In fact, they blow up his home, his tree.
Hey, that's pretty
Well,
serious.
Why don't they? Where's the activists? Where's the Sierra Club? Where's the animal activists at? Yeah, give me a break.
Oh, folks.
The blackberry in the mouth, that was an accident anyway, wasn't it?
No, they intended on that. Sure, for his mouth.
Did they know he was allergic?
Yes, because he mentioned it earlier on the show. And Peter,
pretty
and
hostile.
Sony Pictures, their apology is BS because they knew this was going to happen. Because in the movie, Peter says something to the effect of, let's hit him with blackberries. And then he looks at the camera, the animated rabbit, and he goes, and we'll see how many letters we get.
Oh, I love them. They were trolling for bites.
They knew this was going to happen. So their apology, I don't buy it.
Oh.
Good for them.
Yeah.
If you're suffering from a food allergy and all that, I totally understand. That's not funny. But if you can't laugh at yourself in some of these things, you're in sad
It's a
shape.
cartoon.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Anyway,
And now it's time for the Monty Man's weekly win because we have to say something positive. Oh, my.
that's right. La, 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 la. All right. Valentine's Day was amazing for Marcia and I. We spent the time alone. It was just great. It was great. We just had a good time. And I took my poor broken body and walked. I had to park way on the other end of the courthouse, went up the elevator, walked down the long corridor that you walk down every day.
Once a day?
To her office, and my bone spurs and hips and everything else were screaming to take my wife 2 roses that were overpriced, $25 for 2 roses. But it was worth it because I loved a woman. I love her. And to see her face, because I held the roses around the corner, around the bookshelf, and I went, hello. And she saw the roses just kind of moving in the wind there. And she went, I recognize that voice. And she came out, and it was just cool.
Very good.
That's a win. That's a win. And then the head commissioner guy comes out, and Ralph, he comes out, and he goes, good call, Monty, good call, So that was really, really, really cool. And then we went and saw the movie 1517 to Paris, the true story, played by the people that were in the tragedy themselves. This is the story of the terrorists that tried to hijack the train to Paris, and the military guys. There was 3 of them and a citizen, or 2 of them and a citizen, and 2 citizens that were able to apprehend the guy with his guns and everything else, and save the train. And those very people actually played in the movie.
Wow.
So the acting wasn't tremendous because they're not actors.
Right.
But because it was a true story, and knowing that they had gone through this and they reenacted it themselves, was pretty intense.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome that they were willing to actually go through that again.
Right. Right. So just when, and it really came at a good time because of the tragedy that happened on Valentine's Day in Florida with the shooting. It was good to see that there were still heroes in the world, and there are people that,
Excellent.
are stepping up to the plate. And of course, this didn't happen on Valentine's Day. That was just the movie was showing that day. But so that was a win. And then here's a really good win. Ever experienced a cold toilet seat, Marv?
Of course.
Well, here's some solutions to that. I thought these are really good wins.
Oh boy.
So the toilet seats that aren't completely one circle, they're split in the middle.
Yeah, horseshoe.
Like horseshoe toilet seats. Yeah. Well, if you put a tube sock.
Oh my goodness, no. Stop it.
On each side.
That's gross, is what that is. Oh, I don't know which is worse, the dirty feet or the oh.
Well, you want to use socks that you don't care about.
Yeah, apparently.
But it'll keep your toilet seat warm. So put a tube sock on your toilet seat on both sides of it. Just kind of,
Where'd you go for this information?
This came from Dollar Shave Club.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. The other one is switch out your toilet seat to a wooden toilet seat, because wood actually holds the heat better. The problem with wooden ones is they split.
And they hold bacteria.
Yeah, they do. And once they split, they're done. Once the varnish is gone, they're done. But if you want a warmer one, or if you're not, doing a little dance because you have to go so bad, you can always hit the toilet seat with your hairdryer. That'll warm it up.
If your wooden toilet seat is split, there's a very good chance you might get pinched a little bit.
A little bit.
You get off that seat.
That has happened before. Because a lot of toilet seats are made out of press board. And once they crack, there's no amount of duct tape that's going to solve that problem. You're going to pinch your cheeks. Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh, I can't believe that.
What's a way to win?
The more serious aspect of it is actually going to the pot in the middle of the night and realizing that the toilet seat is up as you start your descent down.
Oh, that's a spiritual awakening right there.
That 1 inch fall, you're flailing in the air to save yourself from drowning.
I know. It's like,
amazing.
Or the win is you could move to Japan.
Yeah, huh?
Because, check this out. Now, it's been known for years that Japan has used basically a hole in the floor.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
But that was a long time ago. It's been estimated that more than 70% of Japanese homes are equipped with toilet seats boasting enhanced capabilities, including seat warming. As an added bonus, these high-tech toilets also feature butt washing, deodorizing, white noise generators to muffle your butt sounds, and even an MP3 player that allows you to blast your favorite tunes while you're blasting your favorite toilet seat. The only downside to this is they're about $4,700.
Yeah, well.
Okay, now I want to know, how does 70% of Japan afford a $4,700 toilet seat? Because we buy a lot of stuff from Japan. That's how.
It seems like tube socks is the answer.
Tube socks.
Merino wool.
Yeah, something.
Okay, now that I've got everybody in half of the world mad at me because of the Peter Rabbit thing,
Maybe.
start your own radio show. You can talk what you want to talk about. And that's what that guy told me years ago in that NA meeting. Why don't you leave us all alone and start your own talk show? His name was Waco. Remember Waco?
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Yeah.
It does.
So I said, okay.
Ding, ding, light bulb.
Ding, ding, light bulb goes off. All right, so we'll take a break. We're going to come back with some Step 10 trivia, and we'll get into the topic about Step 10. Don't go away.
Around, hit the ground, time to lay a burden down.
Hey, greetings, recovery family. It's me, the Monty Man. Because of the generous folks at Podomatic, Take 12 Recovery Radio is now able to reach literally thousands of people seeking recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. Addiction is the #1 health crisis in our world today, and recovery from active addiction gets the least amount of attention due to stigma. Now, with the help of Podomatic, we are able to break that stigma and focus on the solution that is recovery more effectively than ever before. So, from all of us here at KHLT and the Take 12 Recovery Radio shows, we give a hearty thank you to the staff at Podomatic. To subscribe free to our podcast, visit us at www.take12recoveryradio.podomatic.com. That's take, the number 12, recoveryradio.podomatic.com. Thank you, Podomatic, and God bless you. To join the world's largest directory of independent podcasters, visit www.podomatic.com.
The truth about recovery is that no human power can solve our problems. That job belongs to God. Give us a listen at take12radio.com on your internet dial. And now here's the Monty Man.
Dun, 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 dun. Ah, yes, the innocence of little children.
Yeah, that voice, the last child that spoke.
Yeah, I'll tell you who that is here.
Yeah, it's pretty nasal sounding.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, it's time for Take 12 Trivia, brought to you by that award-winning recovery magazine, the 12-Step Gazette. Visit their website at 12stepgazette.com. Now take it away, the Monty Man!
Wonderful.
Okay, Step 10 Trivia. If you get it right, you get a little bell. If you get it wrong, you get the fluff machine.
Little fluff, here I come.
Alrighty. Number 1, in Step 10, what is it that we continue to take? Is it A, Advil, B, suggestions, or C, inventory? Marv?
C.
Inventory, what do you say there?
With a dose of Advil. Yeah, we take inventory.
We take inventory. You guys are correct. Number 2, in Step 10, we cease fighting the following. Anything, anyone, and what else? Marv? We cease fighting the following. Anything, anyone, and what else? I'll give you a clue. Even.
That's a clue. Ourselves?
You know what gets me?
What?
Is we all three should know this thing, you know.
I
Well,
know.
I'm looking at my two
Yeah,
elders
yeah.
going, yeah.
Even alcohol. We cease fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. Sorry, guys.
You're going to get some feedback on that, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Excellent.
Number 3, one of the promises in step 10 states that we have not sworn off alcohol, but instead the problem has been what? A, arrested, B, cured, or C, removed. Denver?
Removed.
Marv?
Removed.
You guys are right. It has been removed. The next one is, in step 10, what is the proper use of the will? Here are your choices. Staying sober, B, carrying the vision of God's will into all of our activities, or C, admitting promptly when we were wrong.
Ooh, I like C, but
Staying sober, carrying the vision of God's will into all our activities, or admitting promptly when we were wrong. What do you think, Marv?
I'm going to go with C.
Okay.
I am too. I like
Are
C.
you? Sorry, guys.
It's B, huh?
Yes, it is B. In step 10, the proper use of the will. Carrying the vision of God's will to all of our activities is the proper use of the will. Okay, here is your last one. In step 10, what flows into us if we carefully follow directions? A, a warm sense of serenity. B, God's Spirit. Or C, a desire to serve. Marv?
C.
Desire to serve? Denver?
A and B again.
A warm sense of serenity, or B, God's Spirit?
B.
It could be A, too.
Yeah, it could be
actually.
B. I'm going with
Well,
B.
yeah, remember, according to step 10, what flows carefully, if we follow directions, is B, God's Spirit. It says His Spirit. And we're going to be reading that here in just a minute, referring to God. So there you go.
Boom.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That shows you what I know
Yeah,
about
little-
step 10.
A little sharpening of the steps there.
Well, you know what it's like, though? It's kind of like, you know when you know a song, right? You know it backwards and forwards, but if somebody asks you to sing it, you go, I don't even remember where it starts. But as soon as you hear a couple notes on the radio, you're able to pick it up and you know it right away. That's kind of how the big book is sometimes with a lot of folks.
The way life is.
We know it, but we need a little oomph in there, maybe the beginning of a sentence or something like that, and then we kind of know what it is.
That's why we have smartphones now.
That's why we have smartphones.
Google.
Yeah, that's right. That does it for Take 12 Trivia for this week. Okay. Step 10. Step 10 states, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Anyway, if you haven't gone, we've done a show on all the steps called Step 1 Revealed, Step 2 Revealed, and so on. You can go back in the archives on Podomatic and listen to those in order is the best way to do it. You can go to our YouTube channel and do that as well. You can get all that stuff by going to take12radio.com and clicking on the proper links. All right, Step 10. The instructions for Step 10 starts on page 84, the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it says, right after it says they will always materialize if we work for them, referring to the 9-step promises, which we talked about last week. It says this thought brings us to Step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along. So you don't just continue to take personal inventory, you also continue to set things right. So you continue to make amends. We vigorously, Denver, vigorously.
Yeah, I don't know what that word is. Thanks.
Commence this way of living as we cleaned up the past. So this just isn't a philosophy. This is a way of living.
Yeah, it's not a one-time shot.
Right. We have entered the world of the Spirit. What Spirit? God's Spirit. Yeah. Our new function. Because remember, we had an old function.
This function.
And by the way, if you're doing the old behavior today, it's not old behavior. It's current.
Yeah.
Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. So step 10 just is not a maintenance step. It's a continue to grow step. A lot of people misunderstand that. They go, oh, these are the maintenance steps. Well, yeah, to maintain, keep something polished is all great and good. But if you're polishing up your 57 Chevy every week, but you never start in the engine, what's going to happen 4 or 5 years down the road when you want to drive that thing?
It's going to be the same place.
It's probably not going to run. So you got to continue in more than just maintaining. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for our lifetime. Continue to watch for, and he brings it back again like he has in so many occasions, for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. When these crop up, we ask God, so that means we're going to pray, at once to remove them. Now, some people will say, well, God doesn't always remove them at once. That's true, but we ask God at once. So what are we doing at once? We're asking God at once. Doesn't mean they're going to be removed at once. Because like you always say, Marv, it's a process.
Yeah.
You know, we discuss them with someone immediately and make amends quickly if we have harmed anyone. Quickly and immediately are two different things. So discussing with someone what you've done that's inappropriate should be done ASAP. Even if the amends isn't appropriate to make the amends yet. You should discuss your wrongdoing with somebody really fast. It may be a sponsor, a spiritual advisor, it may be a pastor, a rabbi, but somebody that you trust. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and tolerance of others is our code. So this is, go ahead, Marv.
See, I told you it will serve others, on the trivia thing.
But that's not what flows through us. But yes, that was kind of a trick question. So after we've now this is step 10 now, after we've seen where we were wrong, because we've done step 9, doesn't mean we stop offending people because we're human,
No.
right? So now when we do this, when we see that we're wrong, we share it with somebody right away because that helps relieve the burden. And then we go as soon as we can, quickly, and try to set the wrong right. After doing that, then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and tolerance of others is our code. So it's really interesting here because now we're gonna get out of ourselves again and think of somebody that we can help. But we got to keep in mind, because some of those people that God's going to bring to our mind that we can help are going to be people that we may not want to help. And so he's reminding us, remember, love and tolerance is our code. So as you're thinking of these people that may not be so lovable, you got to keep this in mind because they may be the people that God wants you to help. Deborah's going grumble. Because we've all been in service of people that really weren't very pretty, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. And we're like, why am I wasting my time? You may not be wasting your time.
Probably not wasting your time.
And then it says, we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. For by this time, what time? By the time you're at step 10, provided you've actually applied and implemented 1 through 9. So if you haven't done 1 through 9, this probably isn't going to happen. By this time, sanity will have returned.
Finally.
Yeah, really, right? We will seldom, didn't say never, we will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, and I'm glad it said that. Mm-hmm. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we will find that this has happened automatically. It took some time for that to happen with me. Now I look at a commercial about, like Samuel Adams beer, and I can kind of lick my lips and go, that looks pretty good. But it's pretty fleeting. You know what I mean? And it disappears without, I really don't have to do anything. It just kind of goes away.
With each strike of that, like I will use that term strike of alcohol, strikes, boom, boom, boom. It gets easier to like they said, repel away from it. And like it's a hot thing. I don't need, nah. No, it gets easier as you go, most certainly.
And do you think? So let me ask Marv. Do you think one of the reasons that it might get easier is because of the continued maintenance of our spiritual condition?
That has to be it.
It has to be it, right?
Yeah.
Because if we're not doing that, the tendency is that's looking better and better every time we see it, not less and less.
And the other thing too, just a thought that if you are, I really kind of don't like these words, but if you are in fit spiritual condition,
right?
And for everybody that's
the ideal,
different.
Right?
Yeah. It may that temptation may increase for a short time, because there is that side out there that don't want us to be
the enemy of our soul,
to be successful.
Our alcoholic. Yeah, you bet.
But
it'll try to slam us harder.
Yeah.
So this is a 10th step promise here. We will see that our new attitude towards liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. Getting to step 10 takes thought and effort. But when you live in step 10, I've noticed that, wow, it went away, and I don't think I even did anything. It's like you were saying, it becomes less and less. And I think that's possibly because we've changed. There's been change. The way we look at things, our attitude and everything has changed. It's not part of who we are like it used to be.
We're busy thinking about other things.
Yeah.
Most certainly. Not dwelling on the alcohol.
Did you dwell on it? Like when you were not drinking? Were you obsessed by it?
What do you mean when I wasn't drinking?
I'll give you an example. When I was working in my cord has got my leg. When I was working in retail years ago, when I was drinking, I made it a point never to go to work drunk.
Wow.
Because I needed my job. That was at that job, not at other jobs. Believe me, I got plenty blotted at other jobs. Yeah. But at that point, I was still functional enough to understand that I needed a paycheck to support my habit. So I made it an effort not to drink on the job. But boy, was I watching the clock.
Yeah.
When 5 o'clock hit, I'm over at the bowling alley with the boys, and I'm getting a pitcher of beer for me. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. It was just.
So your question to me again was,
did that slowly go away with time of sobriety?
Oh yeah,
yeah. The obsession, it just kind of.
The obsession at the end of my drinking career was overwhelming. I mean, I would have a bottle, whatever I would have there, but I would already be consumed about where's my next one coming from. It was insane. I didn't think about anything else other than getting the next one. I had it in my hand, but I was consumed with getting my next one. With sobriety came that fading away of where's my next one coming from? Because
sure.
I've been relieved of that compulsion of my next one.
Right.
My next one.
I remember heading out to parties where I knew there was going to be plenty of alcohol, making sure that I had drank plenty of alcohol before I got there.
Oh, heck yes.
Because I didn't want to take any chances.
No. I didn't want to take a chance.
Now, this is it is a miracle. It's an absolutely
Amen.
Intervention of God for these things to come without any effort on our part at this point. And it says that. This is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it. Neither are we even avoiding temptation. We feel as though we have been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We have not even sworn it off. Instead, the problem has been removed. So if I have a problem with sniffing Elmer's glue and it's been removed, I can go to the craft store now, right? And I can buy crafts for my kid, and I can buy glue for my kid, and I don't have to worry because God's removed it. Now, that almost sounds like, well, now you can go to the bar and play pool.
It sounds that way, don't it?
It does. But let me caution you.
Please do.
Is that wise? Is that wise? And only you know the answer to that. And I know people that do this. They'll go to a nightclub and hear their buddies playing the band and do just fine. You know, I truly believe I could go hear my buddies playing the band and do just fine. But I will tell you that there's a reason for that. And that has to do with my spiritual condition and God's power in my life. Now, depending on what nightclub it is, if I'm in fit spiritual condition, why would I want to go there anyway?
Bing.
You know, when I can see my buddies playing at, you know, the VA hall. Well, I shouldn't say VA hall. Sometimes they drink a lot there too on the next weekend. But I don't know. That's an area, and that's a whole other show. But we do find, you know, there comes a point in our sobriety and our recovery where if you want to buy vegetables and fruit in the grocery store and it's right across from the beer aisle, you got to come to some point where you can still buy your vegetables and your fruit. You know, I remember in early recovery, I couldn't do that. I'm walking down to get fruit, and I'm looking at the beer, and I'm not coming home with apples. I'm coming home with a couple 6-packs. But I hadn't done these steps either. I hadn't gone through this recovery process. So, Marv, what about you? Can you be around stuff like that and not freak out now?
I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your example of the music in the club or the bar or whatever is one that I've experienced several times in sobriety.
As a musician too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember one evening at a little tab out in Tangent, we were playing out there, and
that'd be the dig.
The stage was up about 18 inches or so, and so you're standing up there playing, and you're looking down right on the tables, and I remember this frosty mug of beer sitting in that thing was sweating, and I'm up there, and I kept looking at it, and but I didn't have to indulge.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, yeah, there was a little tinge there. Not guilt or anything, but just the realization of romancing that thing a little bit and then being able to say, no, that's,
you
know, give me a Pepsi, you know.
That's cool, though, that, you know, there is that, like you said, that moment.
Yeah.
And then you go, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, then it says it does not exist for us. The problem, what's the problem? The obsession. That's been removed. It's gone. Doesn't mean the allergic reaction to alcohol is gone.
Or the temptation.
Or the temptation, because the enemy of your soul can wave something in front of your face. That's not your fault, right? It does not exist for us, the obsession. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. So we don't get real boastful about it and say, all right, you know, I know they're shooting up dope over at that house, but there's a pool table over there. So I'm cool. But we're also not afraid. So if I get invited to a wedding and I know they're going to be toasting with champagne, I'm not afraid. I can go to that wedding. That is our experience. So this is the author's experience here. That is how we react. And here is the kicker. As long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. So what's that for you? For everybody, it's going to look a little different. You know, depending on who your accountability is. Are you discipling under somebody? Are you involved in spiritual gatherings? Do you go to church, synagogue? Where do you worship? Are you working with a sponsor? Or if you have a higher power, are you studying that higher power, getting to know your Creator? These are all part of being in fit spiritual condition. Are you practicing prayer and meditation? Maybe you don't do that, but maybe you practice your faith in another way. Whatever it is, are you doing that? You know, and I can't sit here and say what that is for a person.
Right. but you know, like I've had people on the show that are Buddhists, and I ask them, "How much do you know about Buddhism?" And they're like, well, you know, don't you think if that's your spiritual path, don't you think you ought to be knowing everything you can? If that's what the solution is, maybe you ought to dig into that.
And I dare say that I, as a Christian, could use more of that in my walk.
Amen.
As well. And this says, it is easy to let up on our spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. Yeah, it can, because we can get complacent. We are headed for trouble if we do, for alcohol is a subtle foe. We are not cured of alcoholism. What we really have is a daily reprieve, contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. So we talked about cured before, so if I have a peanut allergy and I break out when I eat peanuts, I go to the hospital, they stick me with, talking about food allergies. Blackberries, right? Stick me with an EpiPen, and then I recover from what I did and from what it did to my body. Just like Mr. McGregor when he stuck that EpiPen. Where were the right fighters that say, yay for EpiPens? You know what I mean? He put the EpiPen in his leg and boom, he was okay. He had recovered from the blackberry allergy. Was he still allergic to blackberries? You betcha. Absolutely. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. So we talk about, he drank because he doesn't have willpower. Well, that has nothing to do with willpower. That's a medical condition where we have an obsession and then we drink, and until that obsession is removed, we got problems. But this does speak about the will, and that's by asking God how we could be a maximum service.
Proper use. I like that.
The proper use of the will. Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him who has all knowledge and power. If we have carefully followed directions, what are the directions? The steps. We have begun to sense the flow of His Spirit into us. To some extent, we have become God-conscious. We have begun to develop this vital sixth sense. We must go further, and that means more action. And that more action is step 11, which we'll talk about next time. So there's a big promise here. If we carefully follow directions, if we admit we're wrong quickly, if we go out to set the wrong right, if we maintain and we continue to grow in our spiritual walk, we will begin to flow God's Spirit in us and will be of maximum service to God and the people He puts in our lives. Denver?
With all that, you don't. It doesn't leave you a lot of time to dwell on thinking about a drink.
Yeah, right.
If you stay busy, concentrating on God, listening to God, helping others, all of that, it doesn't leave you a lot of slack time to be dwelling on the drink any longer.
Right.
Stay busy. Don't get too busy. I know that.
Yeah, because that can go off kilter too.
That definitely will throw me.
The one thing I wanted to say, and to me, I've always, kind of sort of had this problem of understanding the idea of being spiritually fit.
Right.
And part of the reason for that confusion is because of the differences between being a Christian and being in AA, and the different, if you will, doctrines.
Okay.
So I've thought about this quite a bit for a long time, and I come up with something, and I don't know that it's right, or
Sure.
I don't even know that it's that smart, But one of the things I come up with about this, knowing if you're in fit spiritual condition, would be in proportion on your ability to keep yourself right-sized.
I think you're probably pretty doggone close to right, if not right.
And for me, the only way I can stay right-sized is by humbling up
Yeah.
before God.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, I'm not right-sized, and I'm in very, very poor spiritual condition.
Sure. That's a really good word.
Right-sized?
Yeah. No, what he said,
Oh.
the statement that he's making, being right-sized. So humility,
Makes you
or not
right-sized.
humility, being humble doesn't mean you humiliate yourself and you're down here.
Right.
No.
But it also recognizes that you're not up here either.
Right.
But your right size recognizes where your place is in between there.
Yeah, I like that word.
So if you're God's kid, you're royalty, but you're not the king.
Right.
And you're not the jester or the peasant either. You're royalty, but you ain't the king. There's a song out there that a Christian group does, and I'm sorry, I apologize for making this statement, but one of the verses is you're kings and queens. I know you're not. You're not. There's one king, and you ain't it. Now, you may be a prince.
And you might be a queen.
You may be a queen. You may be a princess, but you ain't no queen and you ain't no king. Ain't. I just said ain't.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So, and don't confuse spiritual condition with spiritual position. They're two very different things. When you've said yes to God and you've turned your will and your life over to Him, and most of us have to do that on a daily basis.
Amen.
But when we've made that commitment and we've said that initial yes to God and said, I need you in my life, I fall short, and I turn my will and my life over to you. As believers in our faith, Christianity, once that's done, our position in Christ is secure. Our position is set. God said it is finished. It is done. We didn't earn it through our behavior. And as Bruce used to always say, that doesn't mean your condition's not messed up, but your position is secure. Your condition may be out of whack, and staying in fit spiritual condition requires some things. And I think you nailed it right on the head. And I think being right size and recognizing that you're not down here, but you're not, you're not holding the scepter, sitting on the crown, on the throne. We got to take ourselves off the throne. That's part of our problem. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Alrighty. Let me see here. Our closing song. Oh no, Denver. Give us some shout outs.
Oh my goodness, there's a
He's
list.
got a lot of stuff to read.
You know what? You folks are just listening in. I love it. Hey, here's a shout out today. It's a long list. We got Patrick, Frederick, Shane, Judy, Jane, Ken, Mike, Wade, Kim, Dave, Lisa, Jennifer, Ruth, Craig, I.W. Kathy, Carol, Catherine, Art, Linda, Marco, Donald, Roger, Keith, and Kurt. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very, very, very much.
Awesome, folks.
So if you comment on the show, whether it's on Podomatic, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube or WordPress or Twitter or any of those, you make comments on the show, we want to give you a shout out.
Just give us a comment.
Yeah, just give us a comment. And we'd love to give you a shout out. So thank you all for listening. How can they listen?
I'm not going to comment on that.
He's not going to.
We do
just
all
did.
the time. We just did.
He just did comment.
Right
It's like
there.
saying, my New Year's
And I-
resolution is not to make any resolution.
And I got to watch him, folks.
How can we listen to the show, Denver?
All right, here we go. It's a long list. You can listen and download any of our shows by going to take12radio.com and clicking on Follow Me on Podomatic. Once you're there, you can download our app from Android or iOS. You can comment on these shows, love us, hate us. We hope you love us, and we would love to hear from you. Also, you can listen to the shows on our YouTube channel. Simply go to take12radio.com and click on the YouTube icon. And if you'd like to send us an email, our email address is take12radio@comcast.net. That's take12radio@comcast.net.
Yes, indeedy. Our closing song is from Mark Elder's CD Just for Today, and it's appropriately titled My Side of the Street.
I used to think that I could change the world, but now I see the only thing I'm ever going to change is what goes on in me.
Recovery Monday. Don't forget to tune into all of our shows. Join us on Podomatic, and you can download them. You don't have to take up your data. It's fun. It's for free. You can do all of that at take12radio.com. That's take12radio.com on your internet dial. And until next time, this is the Monty Man along with the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we're wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
Good guys, bad boys, we're all the same. Saved by grace in the name of the game. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay a burden down.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
'Cause she's a super cat, she's super kitty, meow.
Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Meow.